Welcome back to the Hoon of the Garage, where we're not even in the garage today. Nope, that's right. For the last week or so, we've had actually pretty decent weather here. Major plans to do a whole lot of fun riding content. However, my filming setup kind of failed me. So I finally get a new filming setup. Comes in the mail, I get everything set up. I now have a mic, I have a better camera. We have all sorts of new fun tools we get to play with. And finally the day comes where I can film with all this new fancy equipment, and I woke up to a blizzard. So today we are going to kick things off with branching out into, let's say, my side piece hobby. I know, a lot of you guys are used to seeing me going really fast and doing dumb things on a sport bike. Or using an adventure bike like it's a dirt bike and taking it places that it should never go in the first place. Oh, there's a deer! Hi, little buddy! And one of that hobbies involves these. Not really this is a really cheap, crappy arrow that we're going to experiment with. This is going to come in very handy later. Actually, it'd be easier. Let me just go show you. This is my other hobby. This is my beautiful Matthews lift. Quick little tour. I started shooting when I was very young. Took a break for a very long time, but little green bow over there. Got that when I was, I don't know, a couple years old. Red bow here. A few years after that one. I got this old Parker here that's been restrung. Shot the absolute crap out of this guy here. And then I decided one day I was going to go just shoot the new bows and see if they were actually worth it. And I left the shop with this that day. We're not here just to talk about bows today. No. You see, today we are going to be attempting to build the very best arrow that you can build. Now, if you are just someone that's starting out or you don't have a ton of experience in the archery world, these are Easton 6.5s. These are a very, very cheap arrow. This is what I've been shooting for the last year. They're actually quite durable, unless you shoot a rock or steel, or you shoot the back of them with another arrow. They don't survive that very well. I want to say these guys here at my local shop, they come fletched, you know, got cut down with a 100 grain field tip in there. I think these are coming in right around $10 a piece. When it comes to arrows, that's actually a pretty good deal. These are probably one of the cheaper arrows in the market, and frankly, they fly really good. You know, they're great arrows. I've had a lot of great success with these. I love them. Like I said, they fly great. They're cheap. Why would you upgrade? Well, that's because I can't leave good enough alone. Now, before the whole archery thing, I was really into these. I was really into taking these and very precisely placing them at a very long range in a very specific location. In other words, I'm really big on precision shooting. Now, I still am, but I have jumped into archery because it's a lot easier to do, more accessible. You can do it in your backyard. And frankly, I think there's more things to tinker with. It's more enjoyable. It's also much more difficult than it is. I found that precision rifle shooting was kind of easy. Archery, very challenging. I like a challenge. Now, I know I'm only a couple years into archery, but I will say I have quite a few years into these, and I'm going to take the same mentality that is involved with those and place them into these, because frankly, it's really the same thing. The interesting thing with archery is there's this giant argument of, oh, do you run a big heavy arrow and shoot a slow speed? Do you run a really light arrow, shoot fast speed, or do you do something in between? Now, ideally, you would want to run both. If you could, you would run a very heavy arrow and shoot it very fast. But really, that's not doable because bows are very limited on their energy. You got to be able to pull the thing back. So, today we're building the best arrows that you possibly can, in my opinion, using the information that I've learned from shooting very far away with a completely different subject. But we're applying principles here, right? So I went with the Victory Rip XVs. These guys are going to be the lightest GPI arrow on the market. I believe these 350 spine arrows are like a 6.6, which is incredible. I think the Easton 5.0s, which are their like long-range, lightweight hunting arrows, are in the 7s. So Victory really knocked it out of the park with these guys. GPI, grains per inch. So every inch is that amount of grains. I have some Victory stainless steel inserts we're going to be putting in here. Big part of arrows here is we got to steer them, right? So we got to put vanes on the back of these guys. And I have spent, I cannot tell you, that was not supposed to happen. I would say that when you are building and putting an arrow together, probably one of the most important things are going to be your vanes, because you got to be able to steer the arrow, but you don't want too much steering where you're going to get parachuting and a bunch of drag and yada, yada, yada. I cannot preference this enough and say the amount of hours of content that I have consumed trying to pick out what vanes I wanted to run is ridiculous. Throughout all of that process, I settled on these guys. These are the DCA Mini Sabers. These guys here are a very interesting shape, and really, in my mind, I looked at this little like thing there and thought, that's gonna be a weird vane, it's not gonna work very good. Not only did these DCA Minis test very great for sound, they're very, very quiet, but they seem to steer anything people put on the front of these things. We're gonna run red knocks on these things, we're gonna run red fletchings, as well as we're gonna run some red wraps on the back of these arrows. I know, crazy. Guy that's got a red motorcycle, likes red. All right, now I do have a slight problem that I think we are going to encounter, and that is going to be, I don't know if these wraps that I ordered are actually the correct width. I've got a fun little idea of how we can test that. Something like that. Okay, we're gonna lay that on there. We're gonna wrap this around just until there. And as you can see here, look how much wider that sticker is than it needs to be. I would say that that is gonna be 7/8. Just trust me, just trust me. We're gonna take this little guy here. We got a little thingy up here that tells us how long we're cutting things at. This has a protective sticker on it still. Hold on. I've used this thing for ages. This was supposed to be satisfying. This is not satisfying. ASMR, ready? Right there. And then we're gonna just cut. Bam! We got a 7/8 sticker. Something kind of like that. All right, now I have a little issue. I can cut the outer two stickers, but I can't cut the middle one. We might have to come back to that. A little bit of alcohol, a little bit of alcohol. Clean the back of the shaft up nice and good. And I really stroke the shaft, make sure she's good. All clean, beautiful. Something about like that there. Roll that guy. Roll this way. Oh, look at that. Look at that, barely any overlap on there. Again, I really want to preference that I have never built arrows a day in my life. This is the first time, and you guys are witnessing this with me. Somebody in the comments is going to be yelling at me, "You're doing it all wrong, what are you doing?" We have 3 wrapped arrows. Next up, fletchings. Yeah, this guy is, well, it's junk. It's a real cheap arrow from way back in the day. I think from Walmart. I think I got this when I was shooting my recurve. I wanted to just try a different arrow, so I bought a cheapie from Walmart, and it just it's floating around. It's useless to me now, but we have it, and I figured for the very first time fletching an arrow, let's not do the brand new fancy victories. Let's test it out on some junk. All right, so again, step 1 is we're gonna wipe everything down with some alcohol. I don't know why I got 4 fletchings out. I'm only doing 3. We're going to place this down like so. We're gonna take our little handy dandy fletchings here. Now, the one thing that really intrigued me about this fletching jig was I'm kind of lazy, and you can do 3 fletchings at the same time. You don't gotta do put like one vane on. Also, is it a fletch or is it a vane? I don't know. I say both things. Is one right? Is one wrong? I don't know. Please tell me down in the comments. Is one correct and one's not correct? Take a primer pen and prime our fletchings. Can't be that hard. It's literally just super glue. I mean, how complicated could it be? We're just gluing things together. I'm gonna do a nice little thin bead all the way downer. All right, now we're going to gently, I believe, unlock this. Pull that up there, and then put the collar down on it like that. Okay, start the timer. 2-minute timer is up. It's got this cool little like hanging thing there, so I'm assuming you're probably supposed to hang this facing upwards like that. So yeah, let's see how this turned out. Pull it off. Are they gonna stay? Oh, look at that. Oh, look at that. they're on there. Would you just look at that? It looks like a little missile. A little freaking missile. I fletched an arrow. Doesn't look the greatest, but we're learning. That's why we did a test arrow. All right, we can do the real thing now. Let's do it. Kind of doing like a drop at the top and a drop at the middle and then working it around. Pull that up to the top, make sure she's centered around that arrow. Put our collar on there. Like that. Hang it there for 2 minutes. On out of here. Oh, look at that. I'm gonna go ahead and knock out these next two and I will catch back with you when they're done. There they are. That was actually a lot easier than I thought it was gonna be. I was quite nervous, quite worried. I was really debating on paying my local shop to fletch my arrows, but I figured, you know, if I'm out shooting and I ruin a fletching or knock one off or something happens, it'd be cool to have the tools where I could just do it myself. And really, that was not hard. So if you're at all concerned about fletching arrows, with that little Arizona ease jig, as long as you know what helical you want to do, dude, that was super simple. And there's no way these things don't spiral and stabilize super, super quickly. Like I said, dude, it just looks like a little fighter jet. Supposedly they're going to be pretty quiet too. I don't know if that's true, but we're going to test that out too soon. Next step is I just got to get them cut down to length, and then we'll glue the inserts in. So I will catch up with you as soon as we get that done. Well, there we have it. I have gotten the inserts glued in. We are all cut to length. And I guess I can go over that real quick. So like I said earlier, these are the Victory stainless steel 60 grain inserts. They have like a slight collar that just goes over the edge of the arrow. Should make it a little bit stronger, but not quite as strong as some of the insert combinations. But you know, I figured with Victory arrows, we'll run the Victory tips. But funny enough, on the ends here, these are the Easton. Let's see if we can get that to focus nice and good. These are Easton's like precision field points. They're supposed to be like really close to being precision 100 grains. They more than anything, I just thought, I mean, they look really cool. They're very sharp point, but that real sharp point really does help when you have lighted knocks and you want to turn the lighted knock off, because some field tips, they're a little on the dull side, so like you can't really quite use the tip to turn the things off. So that's where these sharp little points here come in handy. So let's fully go over the whole new setup here. Like I said, these are a Victory Rip XV. These are in their 3,000 straightness, and from what I can tell, they're actually closer to 1,000 straightness. We are running DCA Mini Sabers on the back in I believe a 5-degree helical, as well as their 60 grain stainless inserts. Now, all in total is going to put these arrows right at 371 grains. Probably be a little bit lighter if I didn't put the wrap on there, but I mean, come on now, the wrap, it just looks cool. You got to look cool. If you look cool, you're doing good. Now, you might be asking yourself, why in the world would I build such a light arrow? Well, I like shooting kind of lighter poundage. I run a 65-pound bow. I like to be able to just pull it back all day long, not struggle a bit. I feel like I can pull back nice and easy. I can settle on target. I feel like I'm more stable. You know, you're using less energy to pull back. You've got more energy to hold and stay steady. That's my theory. My second theory is, when it comes to all these guys running really heavy arrows so they could, in theory, shoot through bone or do this or yada, yada, yada. If you want to shoot through bone, just use a rifle. Okay, if you're worried about hitting the shoulder and not getting any penetration, don't use a bow and arrow. Speaking of penetration, I'd like to test in the future too. My theory is sharpness of your broadhead has way more to do with penetration than the weight of your arrow. Let's get back on topic. Why did I build such a light arrow? That is simply because of speed. I think speed offers you more forgiveness than any heavyweight arrow possibly could. If your target varies from yardage to yardage, with a very light arrow, you're going to have much less drop. That's enough talk. I think we should go shoot a couple of these things. Real quick, these things coming out of my bow are getting right about 310 to 312 feet per second. So I'm pretty ecstatic with that. I went from a 400 grain arrow shooting 290 to now we're right around 310. So I'm excited. And they look cool. They should fly better. But I don't know. Let's go test that. 370 grain arrow at 310 feet per second at my indoor 10-yard range, because frankly, it's still snowing like crazy outside. The hard thing though is I know my sight tape is going to be all sorts of off in not the greatest weather outside to build the new sight tape. Beautiful. I think we'll do 3 more shots quick, and then we will wrap up the final thoughts of this video. I really can't wait to get these things outdoors and see how good they fly. Well, I think it's where we're going to wrap today's video up. I'm really happy with the way these things turned out. For the first arrows that I've ever built, really, really ecstatic. I think they're going to fly wonderfully outside. I think I've done so much time in research that it's not possible for these things to not work perfectly. I really, truly believe, since how we're running such a light arrow shaft, we put all of the weight up at the front. We've got a total of 160 grains at the front of this thing. We should have a great front of center percentage, FOC. No idea what it actually is, but you can definitely tell the arrow does balance out way up here. Probably a third down the shaft is where she balances out. So it really should fly pretty good, especially with the helical veins on the back of there. This thing should spin, stabilize, and it should fly just straight and true as can be. But I think we're going to leave the long-range outdoor testing for another day. I'm probably going to have to snow blow a landing strip in my yard to be able to actually go out and shoot these, because, like I said, we are shooting a little over 20 feet per second faster than I have been, so I guarantee you my sight tape is nowhere near what it is supposed to be now. Also retuned the bow too through some paper with these new arrows, and I could not believe how great of a bullet hole these things put through that paper. But like I said, I think next time we'll snow blow a landing strip out in the yard so we can, if we do miss the target, we'll be able to find it, because if we bury one of these in the snow and the grass, it's going to be gone forever. But until then, I will catch you guys next time. I want to say thank you. For any comments, questions, concerns, throw them down below. I'll try to answer them. But, a little different than normal, but this is a big part of my life, so I'm excited to try and include this as well on the channel. So let me know what you guys think, and I'll catch you next time.